I hear the slightest stuff, and I'm like, does nobody hear that? Does nobody ears hear it? He's like, yeah, no, it's for the vibe. I'm like, what about my ears? I gotta sing this all the time. What's up, guys? I'm Kehlani.
I'm Khris Riddick-Tynes.
And we're gonna take you behind the song Folded.
Folded.
I'll let your body decide if this is good enough for you. Already folding it for you. Already folding it for you.
Once I brought the beat into the writing room and we had the guitar part down, I just kept freestyling Come Pick Up Your Clothes in that melody over and over and over again. I knew for a fact that I wanted to make sure that I captured that super nuanced, sticky, I don't want to be done with this kind of thing in this verse. And I really wanted to make sure that by the second verse, there was an emotional difference. I think when you're having a conversation, in a real life conversation, you know, it starts a little softer. And then as you start to like recant things and really hear yourself say things out of your mouth, you're like, wait, I got more to say and I'm a little more emotional about it. And then there comes that really fun post hook, the I'll Let Your Body Decide, which is like, I think people think it's really sexual, which it kind of is. But to me, it gave more like when your body feels that discernment, like when you get somewhere, then I'm like, oh,
Melt.
Right, and then I melt. That's my body having decided for me that I'm folding into the situation. Or you could walk into a situation and be like, this don't feel good for me. And like you should follow that discernment. Yeah. Paired with a little, it might go down and tell me how that feels. So
Bow chicka wow wow.
Right, very much bow chicka wow wow energy. So yeah, hopefully that sums up the vast emotion that is folded. I had a whole nother album before this. I started working on this other album, but it was like really introspective. And I wouldn't say this one isn't, but it was like I'm making all of this in my room with just my engineer and packs of a gazillion beats. Like there's no one else involved. It was just me word vomit. And I ended up going to Hawaii and writing, doing some surfing. And I made one song. And after making that one song, which didn't even make the album, hilarious enough. After making this album, I sat around and me and my friend Isaiah, we look at each other and we go, it is so not time for this dark ass album. It is go time. Yeah. And I called him and we started working on, I feel like what sounded like even another album, same title. Yeah. And then we made a bunch of other songs that didn't make it. Yeah. And then we made Folded, and I wouldn't say that the success changed the album, but I think it gave me a lens into what my fans miss the most about me. But really, it kind of gave us a cool creative window into like, okay, let's just knock this thing out of the park.
It's so silly of me to act like I don't need you back.
So we have an intro flourish. The thing that was important for me with this was that it was a reintroduction of Kehlani. I love strings, and on various projects that I worked on, I've always, there's an opportunity to do strings, I'm like, yo, let's do it. We just put together a bunch of runs, and they all they come together into, it just feels like royalty.
We need Bridgerton to call us.
Yeah, we need Bridgerton.
We need Folded for Bridgerton 2026.
But what it speaks to for me is that I do feel like she's the princess of R&B, and I do feel like I do feel like she's the one to take the crown. So the introduction needs to represent that, and the music needs to represent that. This is actually a piano that DK, my boy, a co-producer on the record, put in here in the original beat.
You know, it always felt like Willy Wonka to me. In the most positive way. I'm a huge Willy Wonka fan, and I don't know what about that little piano part feels like this one part of Willy Wonka, and I wish I could remember.
It feels whimsical.
It's whimsical. It really is.
It feels whimsical.
I feel like Folded is a whimsical beat in general.
Yeah.
Y'all know what part I'm talking about of Willy Wonka.
The first thing we did on the track was the guitar. The skeleton of the track was done by DK and Dre Harris. I felt like it was missing a component. And me and her have always been trying to find this guitar line on a few songs. Mm-hmm. And I wanted it to feel artifacty and like a sample. So I threw it through auto-tune. Then I had a guitar tool rack on here, give it some tone. And then on the original bounce, I put a little sketch cassette on here. But she has like perfect pitch, and she was like, it's making it detuned. So I took it off.
I hear the slightest stuff, and I'm like, does nobody hear that? Does nobody ears hear it? He's like, yeah, no, it's for the vibe. I'm like, what about my ears? I gotta sing this all the time. We have a song called After Hours, my single from my last project, that I knew something was off. the drums were slightly out of tune, and it was that thing where he's like, yeah, nah, it's the vibe. And I'm like, but something is off. And then somebody made a video, and they were like, guys, I have perfect pitch, and the drums are a little off. And I was like, bro, I knew it. And we ended up replacing the audio on streaming platforms after tuning the drums correctly. And then we freaking posted it, and some people were like, the vibe was better before. But
Like I said, but you know.
that was the minority. The rest of everybody was like, oh, I can listen to it now. I was like, wow, you guys didn't know y'all had perfect pitch. Look at y'all, just learned something today. So,
I mean, this is a super vocal heavy record. The cool thing that she did was, her and Dixon built out this world. So it's a lead vocal for a majority of the record, for the beginning of the record. And then once you get into the hook, you start hearing the different layers.
I'm not a studio singer. Like, I cannot get down in studios for the most part. Like, it's very hard for me to write in rooms that are shut down and like closed, and there's no windows, and I can't just like look outside. So when I'm writing, like, I have to work in a house. Don Mills, who played guitar on the song, has this really beautiful like bungalow studio space.
The Resort, Miami.
Shout out to the Resort. It was a blast, had a blast. Would go back over and over again. But that first day, I went in the room and Dre was playing this beat that he got from DK. And I was like, you're going to give me that? And I'm going to take it over there. And it was really fun to do because I just like had the mic in a closet in the house. And Dixon was walking me through all these like harmony options. And there's a really funny video somewhere of me really trying to get that yeah, over and over and over again, just because it was really high. I don't even think it was that, it was the door.
Yeah.
That is so high.
It
was this.
Meet me at my door while it's still open.
So you hear all the...
Close I am. Come pick up your clothes I am.
Throughout the song, just to add like a little texture, we put a vinyl kind of thing going back there, so it feels like it's an old school record, or we cut it to tape.
Ambiance.
Ambiance.
Beyonce.
So these are the original drums that DK had in there, and then I just beefed everything up, just added an extra kick, extra hat, and then extra snare, extra hat, just accentuating the groove, and then don't forget the vinyl. This bass line really moves the song. The main sound transitioning out of the first hook into the second verse is gonna be the string. That's the thing that I think sets it off. String and guitar. So let it simmer, then bring in.
No matter what you do, switch the story up, I know.
And once again, it's just a reintroduction. She's coming in with more energy, and it's like she's arrived. She's here to smack shit up.
I mean, I think setting out from the beginning of the era, we wanted to dance from the beginning to end. I think there was this special thing that I noticed about Aaliyah videos, where unless it was like a cameo, there usually wasn't a love interest. And that, as a little girl, got me to be able to watch her and be like, this is about her. I also have this funny habit where people like to pair me with every single person that I appear in a music video with, even if they're a random actor I hired from Los Angeles. Featured artist or not, they just pair me with everyone. So I was like, you know what, coming into this era, like, I just want this to be about me. So I was like, man, it's time to dance. You can't play me any song that has a strong drum pattern and it doesn't feel danceable to me. I see a lot of people all the time like, this didn't require dancing. I'm like, oh, but it did. We've been getting in arguments, not us, but the internet doesn't know what structure that this song has. This song doesn't have a pre.
It's 5 hooks.
Everybody thinks Come Pick Up Your Clothes is a pre-hook, and I'll Let Your Body Decide is the hook. But there's no pre. It just goes verse, hook, post-hook. Just to clarify that for anybody wondering.
I'll let your body decide if this is good enough for you.
The cool thing about the vocal stuff here is that I incorporated like a reverse reverb, so it kind of makes it feel like a ghost. And whether this relationship is like fading out or coming back in or whatever, but it haunts you regardless, right? And so it's kind of a cool effect right here.
Already folding it for you, already folding it for you. I'll let your body decide if this is good enough for you. Already folding it.
It's almost feel like she's in another universe. This all started just from us doing a session in Miami. We had called in a big brother of ours and really good friend and amazing producer, Dre Harris, who pulled us some ideas, some sketches that was done by him and DK, my guy right here. DK the Punisher, amazing producer. Snatched it, started adding elements to it, whether it was guitar and strings and, beefing up drums and figuring out the bass pocket. It was literally a team effort, and it just turned into it was a relay race, and she took it home.
So I actually started with, I had like a whole other vibe going, and then I just kind of got frustrated, and I scrapped everything except the drums. I just liked the bounce of the drums, and then I had the piano thing going, and I was just vibing to that for a minute, and then I just started playing the Rhodes sound. This is really just a day just at the crib, vibing on ideas, just trying to get something going, just like a normal day, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it just felt good, it just felt good once I started building it.
They hadn't started anything. Dre literally opened his computer and he was like, well, I got some stuff. Let's just go through them. And he's played that one and I was like, wow. And then he played the next one. I said, no, wait, go back. And I said, I know you want to play other stuff. That's fine. But while I heard it and I'm excited, just give me that. And I took it in the other room, so.
There was some other parts too. There was this little guitar part. Yeah, just little accents I like to add just to add more to the vibe without overcrowding it with a bunch of instruments, because I always want to leave it open, leave space for a vocal. It's just a lead from this Juno plugin I have, just to add some ambiance and some vibe to it.
I've never even heard this. I think this album, I Want You to Feel, which there isn't really any pronouns on this album, I think, but it's less about a conscious non-pronoun existence and more I'm not explaining a situation for someone to watch from the outside. I want you as a listener to be in the situation, whether you are singing the song as my perspective or you are hearing it and feel like I'm singing it directly to you. If I'm in a conversation, I'm not really saying, hey, girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, girl. She, then I'm saying you and you and you and I and I and me and we. That's the conversation if I'm really having it with you. And if I'm telling somebody to come pick up their clothes, I'm not stepping outside of that to remember, oh, I'm singing a song. No, I'm just having a conversation. There's also no cuss words in the song.
Yeah, there's no cuss words in
We
this
didn't
song.
leave a single stone unturned. I didn't want to waste a second. There's just vocabulary in that thing.
Yeah.
When I heard about the Grammy nominations, I was on my couch because he woke me up really early. I didn't even see the actual nomination. My manager called me, and you text me a winky face. He just texted me a wink. For me, it's the fact that no matter what happens, I feel like we changed R&B this year. And we changed the conversation. We sparked a conversation. We kind of reintroduced some things to the conversation that wasn't happening before. And it feels so much larger that the nomination felt kind of like icing on the cake.
For sure.
I don't wake up and think about let's make the music to get the Grammy.
Yeah.
So when it happened, it was just okay, is everybody, we good? Let's check in. We good? Let's keep going.